Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to. Yeah.
Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, one of a kind, What's on your mind, What hard to find, Beautiful mind, Still in my prime, Just know that I'm here.
Well, what's up, brother? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's up, guys? This is Chris from Pondoff's Anonymous, episode 3, hat trick episode. I'm here with my producer, the brains behind this whole thing, Jeff the Liberal.
It's the first time anybody's called me the brains behind anything, but
be,
not
be
the first time anybody's called me the
Jeff
Liberal.
the Liberal, right? And you wear that bad. You wear that with honor. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're a good man.
We can sit in the same room together. That's
absolutely.
pretty, yeah.
I used to say opinions are like assholes, right? But now I say opinions are like liberals. Everybody's got one. My wife's mine, and my whole family, and you, and almost everybody at this fucking church I go to.
Oh, you're surrounded.
Maddening. But, nobody's perfect. So last episode, we talked about a brutal topic, and we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today. But I did mention how, I think I opened it up with sharing some rap tunes, and I mentioned how I used to have recommended background music on all my blog posts. And, I like music, and who doesn't? And it kind of gets the fucking creative juices rolling a little bit. So, without getting sued, I'm not going to play the recommended background music, but I'm going to tell you you 6 people that are probably listen to this, what the recommended background music for today's episode is, titled "To Be a Kid Again." I did write about it back in 2017. It's important because I was having this conversation with a couple people recently on tips to finding joy in a sober world type of setting. So when I wrote it, the recommended songs were, let's see, "I Will Buy You a New Life" by Everclear. Good song. "Closing Time" by Semisonic.
Yeah, I don't know. Semisonic?
You know that song is about childbirth?
Is it really?
Uh-huh. Huh. So, a little aside here, I don't know, it came on, I was YouTubing around, this was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, and the lead singer for that band, everybody remembers that song. It's like, I don't know if they want to call him a one-hit wonder, not that musically like intelligent or literate. But yeah, he did it, he sang it, whatever the fuck, at this college, and he told him how you guys have to YouTube this. He said how it is about his wife giving birth to their second child. And then he sings it, and he points he'll stop at each verse and be like, "You see?" And it's hidden because everybody thinks it's about fucking stumbling out of a bar, right?
Right, yeah, for sure.
So it's pretty. So I'm sure, I don't know why I put these songs in here, but I wanted to share that story. And then The Killers, "When You Were Young." Mm. And the reason I finished with that one, "When You Were Young" by The Killers, is because today I want to talk about something that helped me. Something that, what the fuck are you trying to do over here? God. Yeah, the brain's my ass is little. Anyway. Thank you, buddy. He's going to stick this up my ass if I keep talking shit.
Hey, the microphone was falling. It might still be.
Yeah, it's all right. Never mind. So it's about, where was I? Okay, "When You Were Young" again, we talked about in this particular blog about something that helped me find joy again. And it was, I went back to being a kid. So that's what, hence the fucking title, to be a kid again. And what do you mean by that, Chris? Well, in my, let's see, 20s, I had one time dated this back. So I think there was a time in like sophomore, junior year in college. I went to college for like 7.5 years. And the whole like Chris Farley thing, I'm no fucking doctor. So I don't know if I can use the term sophomore or junior. It gets blurred a little bit. But I was 21, 22. I was sick, and I went a 24-hour period without a sip of alcohol. I checked into rehab when I was like 3 or 4 months after my 30th, birthday. So in that 9-10 years, that span, I had gone 2 24-hour periods without drinking. The one time in college, and then the one time when we were at Cardinal Glennon for Ollie for his last couple days. I somehow kept. You'd think like the time you need to drink the most when you're going through something that fucking brutal. But for those of you who don't know, my cousin lost a son to a congenital heart defect at 13 months old. I'll talk more about them as this podcast goes on because they are fucking heroes, him and his wife, on everyday ordinary people becoming heroes. It's those two. And inspirations and all that good stuff, like to be able to get up after something like that. But yeah, so his last day, if I remember correctly, Ollie was had a heart attack, cardiac arrest on a Saturday night, and then on Thursday, his parents had to make the decision to. Yeah, I hardly even talk about make the decision to turn off the machine. Or his brain had been no activity for quite some time, and our pastor at church was there praying with him. But that last day in the PICU, I went without a drink. So 2 days in say 10 years. So when the thought of getting sober for a lot of people, and for me, just putting in a frame of reference on how much I fucking drank, was so terrifying, man. It was fucking scary. The scariest thought. Like, I'm going to stop drinking and then do what? What the fuck am I going to do after that? I drink doing everything. On the way home from work, from Maryland Heights to Belleville, Illinois, which, for those of you that don't know the area, is a 35, 40-minute commute with a mild traffic. I would fucking drink a pint of whiskey on the way home. And,
oh my gosh.
Like, so to the thought of doing anything in life without drinking it's terrifying. And it's like that for anybody facing the recovery, like the decision to stop doing whatever the fuck it is that they're doing. How are they going to find joy in life without that? And that's the fucking job of the chemical, man. It makes your brain want it more and think that you can't live without it. And You're never going to see the sun or a light in your world without doing the XYZ drug or alcohol. So I literally, in rehab, started thinking back to when was the last time I was a fucking happy person, truly happy, and it had involved zero substances, like, and it took me back to a fucking kid. I started drinking and smoking weed in 8th grade and freshman year in high school, like, so that I think is 13 for give or take 6 months, 13, 14. So what the fuck did I do from 13 to my memory starts? Because I was generally a happy kid, even despite the story I shared on episode 2 about losing my best friend. Like, I was able to find joy and happiness. I was a happy kid for the most part. So I knew if I went and got sober that I was at once this body with a lot more miles on it had once before been happy. What do I do? How do I get back to being that joyful kid and finding some fucking smiles, man? And what made me, in between the last episode and this episode, want to talk about this today is these fucking snow days, man. I have been working from home I have an office in my basement. It's an older house, unfinished basement, and I have a bunch of shit down there, and I call it being a racing fan and a sports junkie. Pardon the term, probably not the right term to use to this audience, but I don't know. Was it pun intended? Maybe. I don't know. I've cleaning up a bunch of shit and reorganizing a bunch of shit, and it's hats, sports hats. It's sports, like every fucking ticket that I've had, I got places for them. Every program I've gotten from old Blues games. So I have all this shit in my basement, and I am a bit of a hoarder. I get that from my grandma on my mom's side. She was quite the hoarder, and I think I've got that bug. Do you hoard?
Some things. My wife has broken that.
That's good. You need that, and Ashley's trying on me, but yeah, I mean, there's some things that are ridiculous. So I probably need to scale that back a little bit. But the point is I have all this shit. And I was going through all these things and bringing back memories, and simple things like when I was a kid, like I said, I love sports. I wanted to get every sports team I like. Fucking hat. I love wearing hats. I wear hats now because I'm a bald prick, but back then I just loved wearing hats. And I went through a phase where I liked the Cleveland fucking Indians. Like Cleveland fucking Indians? Like,
is it the movie?
Major League?
Major League?
I don't know. It was probably right around the years they went to the World Series, so I jumped on the bandwagon. And the Cardinals were dog shit in the early 90s. So, yeah, I had a couple Cleveland Indian hats. I would always ask for, a new team's hockey sweater, hockey jersey for those of you that don't play or whatever. I have a Heart for Whalers hockey sweater. I got that for when Brendan Shanahan got that shit gave me fucking joy, man. Like sports and playing sports and doing things like that. So that's one of the things I did when I got sober. I got a fucking went to Lids at the Galleria, and I'm no mall rat, but I would go and buy new hats. Now I have too many fucking hats, but I also remember, and it sounds fucking dorky, and it is fucking dorky, but I went to that Slackers and bought a 20-year-old Sega fucking Genesis and a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And plugged that in and played that for a couple weeks. This is all when I'm newly sober, man. I mean, I'm talking days, weeks, and then they turn into months. And I was really fucking having fun, and it was things that I had quit doing because going out, getting fucked up, chasing pussy was the only thing I wanted to do in high school, and then it evolved to a real problem. Somewhere late teens, early 20s is when the transition from, he drinks a lot. He's, likes to go be the life of the party, and that's all fine and dandy. But then at some point right around that stage of my life, the transition happened. I was a movie I said junkie again. I don't know if I can say that or not. I'm gonna have to ask Nick. He's my sober mentor. Because I'm trying to help. I don't know. Sometimes words that weren't so, I guess, mean, although they were.
The liberal in me will say that could be a trigger word.
The trigger. Yeah, right. Okay. I like that.
Okay.
Jeff, that's huge, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I am not that woke. So that could be a trigger word. So movie what?
I don't know.
I like
fan.
Movie
I guess
fan.
Is the easiest way.
He's a man of many words.
Simple kind of man.
That's deep, Jeff. So a movie fan. I would go to. Do you remember FYE, the store?
Yeah.
And it's closed now, down on Hampton in South City. Mm-hmm. I would go there on like a Friday night and fucking like I used to do when I was a kid at Blockbuster. And I would come home with like 20 DVDs that I bought for $22, like all used. Yeah. But like I got movies that I haven't seen in forever, and I would fucking watch these movies. And like the more I would do things like this, the more free that I felt, the more liberated I felt, and I like started really experiencing real fucking joy, man. Yeah. And I started realizing that there really is life, and what's the word that we use at church? It's fucking. It's not just life, but it's God gives us a. God, come on.
I know. I should know.
It's a like a substance. It's a good life. It'll hit me in a minute, but after like that's what these little things did. They gave me this. They put sun back in my fucking dark world. They put smiles. I started smiling again. It was really, it was so eye opening. So I often tell people I'm helping when you're facing that fear of quitting doing what it is that you're doing, and how are you going to have fun again, or how are you going to be joyful again? And I found myself now, like when I go to a sporting event, I have a million times more fun than I did when all I cared about if I was going to Blues, Cardinals, whatever the fuck sporting event was smuggling in 2 half pints in cargo pants or cargo shorts, going to the bathroom to make a drink because I didn't want to spend $15 a beer, drink a bunch of beer and get bloated. Right. To go in the bathroom, sneak in some blow. I mean, who knew there was a fucking hockey game going on, right? Who knew that the fucking Cardinals are in a pennant race? You know, I'm in the stall fucking doing key bumps and pouring rot gut whiskey in a styrofoam cup or whatever the fuck, and mixing it with like a splash of diet soda just so I can go sit in a chair and get fucked up. Like what a great spend of money there, Chris. $100 ticket, you miss, you don't even watch the fucking game.
Right.
But I started going to these. I remember one time somebody handed me a Rams preseason when they were still here, fucking losers. It was Rams Packers. It was like week 4 of the preseason, so nobody was going to go because even the starters don't play in week 4 of the preseason in the NFL. And they're like, we're not going to use these. Couldn't find anybody to give them to, and it was at work. I'm like, I'm going to run down there. So I just went down there by my fucking self and watched 2 quarters of football, and it was fun, man. I was watching people work their ass off. I mean, not saying that anything about watching the Rams in their final years was fun,
right? But
I went and did it, and I was just on my way up, and it all started with me reaching back deep into when I was last a happy kid. And a lot of the people that I've talked to and that I don't know if I've helped them, they've helped themselves, but I've pointed in the right direction. I ask them that question if they can remember a time they were happy, and most of them, they may not come to that answer, but I'll ask them, were you a happy kid? Were you a happy kid? And a lot of people say, yeah, I was. A real happy kid. Now, I know a lot of us out there have fucked up childhoods and trauma and shit that's happened to us, shitty home lives, and which is a lot of times the root cause of addiction and what we're trying to fucking escape. But even those kids that I've talked to, when you ask them about their childhood, they'll recognize that maybe it wasn't all sunshine and fucking rainbows, but they'll say, yeah, I was a happy kid on the playground. I was a happy kid watching sports. I keep going back to that because that was my jam. But
Right.
music, you're a fucking musician. You don't just really wake up one day in your 20s and say, I'm going to start playing music. It's probably
Yeah.
something you liked for your whole life, right?
When I was a kid. Absolutely. Yep.
And you loved playing, I bet.
Yep.
People that are actors and the drama shit, like, they love it. And it's like people don't realize when they're in the depths of the addiction that its job, the chemical's job, is to make you think that life is not fucking livable without XYZ substance. And so when you're in that mindset, it's impossible to see the light, and that's why we're here. We're here to try to be where the rubber meets the road of, clinician to, I'm not going to say junkie like me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what's, and in my case too, some of the most crucial help I received was from someone in recovery. The same, and people that are sober or have been sober and have lived in this will know. I mean, AA, NA, it's about being amongst people that have walked this path, because you're going to listen to them more than you're going to listen to some doctor telling you, the science behind this shit, which is great and it's important to know. But when you're fucking, elbows deep in this shit, you need to talk to somebody that's walked that walk. And for in my case in rehab, some of the group leaders were sober living guys. They were ex-addicts, or I don't think that's the correct term, because once an addict, always an addict, but recovering alcoholic, right? And they're just no bullshit wisdom, no fucking filter. A lot of people ask me, about the language, and that I may not give a fuck, and I do. I'm not stupid. I realize that it's a little off kilter, but my audience, the target audience here, Jeff, are folks that don't have time for bullshit. They're fucking trying to find the next high. They're halfway to fucking suicide. They're whoring themselves out on the fucking street or in East St. Louis for a fucking crack pipe, shit like that, man. And they don't have time for bullshit. So they've heard the F word before.
Yeah.
But even those folks, like I said earlier, can probably go back to a time in their life when they were happy, before the world got heavy, and it's possible. I learn a lot from kids. Being a foster parent, I've learned a lot from kids that we've kind of in the foster parent training, like, studied. My own experience with our placement, we've had one full placement, and then we've had a little girl for a respite period. But kids will, no matter what the fuck is going on in their life, they will pursue joy at all costs. And there's a lot you can learn from that, man.
Yeah.
And they're resilient. It's us adults that fuck shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that the blog I wrote on it gets into a little bit more detail, and all that will be on on our website, and it's also all the social media stuff that we'll put out there. It's a week before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, as we record this.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Bullshit. Right before this, you said you didn't have anything fucking pot. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey,
But no, you're ready at heart.
I'm thankful for my wife. She's got a lot of the stuff out of the way.
You
for
and
us.
I, Jeff, married way up.
Yes, sir.
And that to me right there is evidence of God, because there's no fucking way that I could draw it up where it would make any logical sense that I'd land a girl like I landed. You know what I mean?
Oh, we're definitely those guys that people are saying, him?
There's hope out there, boys. Maybe a little fucking Jesus will steer you,
Yeah.
Wink, fucking wink. This Christmas stuff, and like I know we're not going to release this. People when they listen to it, it might be in January. It might be in fucking Easter by the time.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
knows? But the last episode, it was kind of, like, try to how to put this, unfiltered, authentic. It was kind of like doing too much fucking coke right before an orgy. I didn't finish strong. You know what I mean? I feel like that.
I don't know what you mean.
All right, well, I felt like we didn't finish strong. You finished strong. You're the best. So I want to finish strong today. I want to share a story talking about kids and it being around fucking Christmas, and tying in some Jesus shit here, because I'm not going to avoid talking about it, and it might not be the best thing for business, but this isn't a fucking business.
Right.
We're trying to help people, and it's what I know. The other day, was doing something around the house, and I've heard him say it before, our kiddo, that we're real close to knocking on the door of adopting, and I'm going to talk too much about it, but I can share this. It's always been, my wife's name's Ashley, my name's Chris. It's always been Chris and Ash. That never forced any names on him. Call us whatever. Don't call me douchebag. Well, I mean, if you're Chris works.
If you're being a douchebag.
Exactly. And he's quick to call you on it. So Chris works. Excuse me. And we're doing something the other day, and I get a tap on me, and hey, Dad, can you help me out with something? And man, it fucked me up, like, for the good. Like,
yeah.
The shit got real. I've heard him say it before to friends, like, and his teacher says that he calls us mom and dad, and refers to us as his parents. At school, one day this summer, we were at a pool barbecue, and I'd gotten out of the pool, and like a fucking gnat flew and landed on my lip or something, and I was like spitting it out, like spitting it, like making a scene. Yeah. And our little guy was playing with a couple of my buddy's kids on a jungle gym playground, whatever the fuck. And they were like, "Look at that guy, he's spitting." And I heard him say, "That's my dad." And I heard that, and I remember that, and that's something you'll know. I'll never forget that, because that was the first. But now, this last time, like over this Christmas shit, he did it. He tapped on me, and just like naturally, I mean, never have we coerced. It's just not it's not our game. I mean, whatever he's comfortable with, and he said it, and it fucking floored me, man. And to be a fucking kid again, this kid's going through some shit, and I learn a lot from him every day, and he's happy, and he chases happiness, and we're going to do whatever it takes to help him heal from past wounds and become the happiest kid he can be. But tying it into the God stuff, man, I couldn't. We didn't go to a fucking pet store and pick this kid out, right? We didn't. God placed this kid with us. For some fucking reason, God connected me and Ashley. To think like about that stuff happening without Jesus, like it just doesn't. That to me is 2 + 2 = 3. It just doesn't fucking connect.
Yeah.
And where I was 2,099 days ago, as of this recording. Tomorrow's 3,000 days. So 3,000 days ago, where I fucking was, man, and where I'm at today, I am so fucking grateful, and I'm so cognizant that it's Jesus, and he and I have everybody, you know, and I encourage anyone, like, have a fucking relationship with them, man. Like, it doesn't have to be the way that you think it is or what the stereotype is. It's not for me, and I'm here with I met this girl who's amazing, and we're parenting a child that ended up being placed with us, and we're knocking on the door of adopting him, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's the fucking hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I'll talk more about this throughout the podcast episodes because I think it's powerful shit. And I think it's evidence of fucking Jesus showing up and being there and fucking helping your ass, like, get through the hardest of hard, and to look back at where I was and where I am today. It's a fucking miracle. Yeah. I should be in a fucking gutter. I mean, I was trying my hardest after my old man died to not wake up. And now I'm married to a perfect gal without getting all fucking mushy, and you're getting over here ready to throw up. I can see you getting the trash can. She's fucking awesome, and she's way above me, and way out of my fucking league. And then to have this child who I unconditionally fucking love more than life itself. It just, like, it fucking baffles me, Jeff. I was on a fucking deathbed with a fucking living an awful lifestyle, doing shit that, funny story, if my mother would get wind of me going to a fucking titty bar, somehow, some way, she would always say to me, "Is that where you want to be when Jesus comes back?" You know, talk about a fucking buzzkill. But I was doing shit that just was, and I'm not some fucking Puritan guy now. You know, no offense to the Puritans. I don't want to trigger anyone. I'm the most, that's what I'm saying. You can still be your imperfect fucking ass and follow and lead a life with some fucking faith, man. And the misconception out there, and I'm not saying that Jesus is a fucking genie that granted me these wishes. You got to lean in, and there's still hard shit. There's still, this fostering shit is fucking brutal, man. Yeah. You see some real things where a lot of even cynics and critics, friends of mine, that are just either pissed off at God and they act like they don't believe in him. It's hard to be, I don't know how you're pissed off at something you don't believe in, though. That's a different story. Yeah. But they're like, oh, how can God kill all these kids to fucking cancer, and how can God do all this shit? And I don't have all these fucking answers. I'm just telling you that God doesn't cause evil. He fucking from in my life has met me at the worst of the worst and helped me because he wants me around for some fucking reason, and he's there in all of us, and it's just it's not a magician shit, man. It's relationship and trying to be a halfway decent fuck. And I'm telling you, I leaned into the Jesus stuff. I started going to church just to get to fucking where my old man was again. That's all I wanted to do. I started going to church as a means to an end. I got to be back with Tom. Well, everybody says he's in heaven, so I'm going to go to fucking church. I know I believe in God. I love Jesus. I'm scared of Jesus. And then I go to this church, and now I'm starting like, shit's not so bad. It's actually, that's how he works too, man. He fucking con artist sometimes, man. Get your ass there under false pretenses. Next thing you know, he fucking saves you. Oh, what an asshole. He fucking saved my fucking life. And he's done it for so many other people, but I've gotten off on a tangent here about the God stuff, but I can't shy away from it. I'm not here to sell stuff and what's good for business or what's bad for business. I'm here to help people, and you are too, and that's what we're here to do. And I wouldn't be sitting here getting ready to spend a Christmas with my wife and our son if it wasn't for Jesus. And for that, man, I'm just so fucking grateful. And you know, for the 7 of you, the 6 plus my mother that listen to this, it's possible for you too. And all you got to do is give it a shot. You have fucking nothing to lose. Is that right?
That's true.
All right. Well, even though you will be listening to this probably after Christmas, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Jeff.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Are you traveling?
No, not far.
Okay.
Just up the state of Illinois, Springfield.
All right, so going to Springfield.
Yeah.
Joe Rogers Chili Parlor.
The best.
Fucking love it, man.
So good.
It's I've been going there for 20 years with my old man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't light oil.
Yeah, it's not like normal chili. It's different.
I wish I had a quart frozen. I usually, every time I run through Springfield, grab a couple quarts, but not to turn this podcast into a chili review, but Joe Rogers Chili Parlor, not a sponsor, but awesome. So all you folks, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will be coming at you fast and furious with a lot of these episodes, and I have guests lined up. I've said that before, but I want to get a couple of these in the bank, and then in the next episode or 2, I think we're going to bring somebody on, and so we can share their story, and you can see a little bit more of this faith, hope, and love shit, because it's golden, man, and it works, and it saves fucking lives. So, you got anything else, brother?
Man, I got nothing. Nothing to add to that. It was good stuff.
Well, with that, everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, happy all that shit.
Yeah.
Be less of an asshole tomorrow than you were today. And as always, let us fucking pray. Amen.
Pondoff's Anonymous is Chris Pondoff and produced by me, Jeff Allen. Our music is Anti-Hero by McCall and Gentle Waters by Wild Wonder. For more information, visit pondoffsanonymous.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram.